we're getting our full-size truck these days, we're not wanting the basics. We're going to want a little bit of, well, upgraded look. Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson. Now, we've seen the latest trends, the aftermarket appointments that a lot of people are putting on their full-size offerings, but now they deliver it right from the lot, specifically on this 2017 Ram 1500 Night Edition. The first thing that came as a shock on this Night Edition model was truly the exterior color. After all, I assumed that meant, well, black on black, but instead there are some options in this realm, and what I like truly is the white exterior that really contrasts all the black appointments. And that's what this vehicle truly means when it comes to the Night Edition. Everything really adorned in black when it comes to those extra features. Now, truly what you're going to see here first is the full-size offering when it comes to this vehicle, the 1500 crew cab model. Of course, a lot of bed offering back here and some extra features we'll get into in just a second. But what this vehicle truly does is that Night Edition really means those black appointments. So let's take a look. Looking at the four corners, first thing to talk about, this is the 4x2 model, no four-wheel drive, but it is an option. What you're also looking at is 20-inch wheels wrapped in a 275/60 rubber. What I also like is the off-road prowess that you get with the stance. Looking at the overall height, this is definitely a run and jump in when it comes to climbing inside. One thing you're not going to notice is any lower fascia down the sides, typically helping to prevent any scrapes and dings. What you could do is maybe opt for a little Line-X spray down the side. That'll definitely, well, prevent any wearing and tearing on this paint. Now, the Night Edition is pretty much an unspoken insignia. You're not going to see it blazoned anywhere, but instead, like the Ram emblem on the front, adorned in black, and all the other Ram features, well, are pretty much real prominent. One place that truly is prominent is here at the back end, where they, well, kind of let you know that this is a Ram truck after all. Well, and it's truly blazoned on that rear tailgate. If you're looking for chrome on this vehicle, you're just not going to find it. A traditional front grille, all adorned in chrome, well, it's been replaced with a very bright on matte grille accent. And of course, that Ram, again, I mentioned, really adorned in black as well. Now, that kind of contrasts and throws off the old school thinking of where Ram used to be. What you're also going to notice is this very sports performance hood. Now, one thing to note, this doesn't have the optional Mopar accessories, so these scoops here pretty much are going to be fake. Well, until you opt to add those accessories to that engine, these will actually become operational. Now, looking at the overall body color, all the way around this vehicle, a lot of lower fascia and flare, and of course, niches here and there. They also take that black accent right down to the headlight assembly, all adorned in black behind the headlights. Really sets this whole front end off and makes it look more aftermarket, but straight from the dealer. Anyone climbing inside this truck is definitely a workaholic and, well, sometimes looking for shortcuts on a busy day, trying to make life, well, just a little bit easier. And on this vehicle, it all starts with the door, with the good old smart key system. Now, what's great is you pretty much leave that in your pocket, especially if you're carrying tools, your hands are full. Real easy to climb inside. Simply slide your hand right here. It knows you're there and unlocks everything with ease. Then simply open it right up and climb inside. Now, of course, if you want to lock it up, simply press right here and it locks everything. And what's even great is it translates all the way down the vehicle. Now, what you're going to notice here is the Ram box is totally enclosed. Has a nice tonneau cover back here. Totally secure, the rear tailgate, and as well right here with the tool boxes. Now, you do have the old school traditional key if you prefer to just do that, but what I like is everything's nice and secure. Well, almost everything. One Achilles heel is right here at the fill-up area. And what you're going to notice is, well, that's the old traditional flip open little opening here, and the good old school cap. Now, if you're not familiar with these nice storage side panels right here, what's great about them is they're multifaceted. And of course, once you pop it open, you can throw anything in here, maybe some tools, whatever. What's also great is maybe on a trip, you want to turn this into one huge cooler box. Definitely going to handle any ice you throw inside. And if you notice, there are some nice releases down here that allow these boxes to drain. One thing I like about this particular model really comes down to this rear tonneau cover, and during my week-long test drive, I was able to treat this more like a trunk than an open bed, really meaning it added a level of security, putting some things down there, didn't have to worry about it, well, walking off. Now, looking at the options back here, what you're really going to see is the backup sensors allow you to dive into those tight spots. There's also equal sensors on the front, and that allows this big vehicle to really scale down because it really dived into tight spots quite easily. What you're also going to see is a backup camera. That's going to be right here. That helps, of course, when you're backing up, but even better when you're trailering, because it gives you a bird's eye view when you're coupling up. And of course, like we talked about earlier, the huge ram contrast in the body color. And what I also like is the slip proof area right here when you step up on the rear bumper. Now, one thing I'd like to improve here is maybe a side step like you see on some of the competition, allowing you to really get about right here and climb inside or reach something. Otherwise, you got to go to traditional middle. Not too bad. Now, as for the rear tailgate, what you're going to notice is it's not an ease down tailgate. Instead, it bangs into place. That makes more of a rattling opening versus the ease down versions we've seen on other trucks. With the tailgate down, this is where it becomes a little bit more cumbersome again with the overall height and, well, trying to climb inside. Again, some of the competition, maybe putting a ladder here. Again, the side step that allows you to put your foot here. Otherwise, well, my goofy self has got to, well, climb inside. Now, once you get up here, this rear tonneau cover can be taken away if you don't need it. Now, there's a couple of releases in there. That's going to allow you to fold it back and easily transition this more into an open cargo area. Now, of course, with this tonneau cover, you're going to have to maybe move it away. If you're there picking something up, what do you do with it? Well, easily stored in here. It's not that big a deal. Now, what I also like is this is more of a spray-in bed liner versus the old school, and we do have this nice divider. Helps you compartmentalize this rear bed. With all the business opportunities going on at the back end, you definitely have to have a power plant to match. Well, and there are two options: a more anemic 3.6 liter V6 engine that's going to deliver around about 300 and some horses, versus what we have here, a 5.7 liter V8 Hemi engine. First off is what I see here, which is a nice ingress with ease, hydraulic lift on the hood. Now, what you're going to see when you pop this open is a nice full-size engine to match this full-size truck. What you're also going to see is 395 horses and 410 foot-pounds of torque. Now, what I mentioned earlier with that air intake all comes together with this Mopar accessory area right over here. What that does is add a cold air intake, well, and boost the overall performance. One thing this vehicle you could say is missing, well, is side step rails, because my wife definitely made a note of that, because it, well, it takes a little bit of extra effort, well, to climb inside. And I like that because, well, it reminds me that I'm driving, well, a nice full-size truck. What I also like is the overall feel. A lot of legroom up front and, well, even more in the back. Also, decent comfort with a nice combo leather, cloth interior. Helps this vehicle stay nice and cool in those summer months. Some of the things I like right off the bat when I climb inside is this nice little niche right here on the dash. It's hard to note right off the bat, but what you do is you put your sunglasses up there, anything, and what you find is this little area really keeps these things from sliding around. Even better, the surface is somewhat slick, but it almost grips anything you throw up there. It really allows everything to stay in place when you're slinging this vehicle around. What I also like is this layer area here. This is a nice place to put that extra change, basically keeping it out of your pocket from jingling around. You might assume you're flying a 747 when you look at this cockpit design right here, especially this nice oversized touchscreen system, which is the standard operating procedure on a lot of Chrysler vehicles. Now, this touchscreen system pretty much houses everything at your fingertip. Nice shortcuts down here below, right down to the climate controls, even your heated seats, and even your heated steering wheel, all can be controlled in this one area. What you'll also notice is there's symmetric knobs down below. Symmetric when it comes to volume and tune select, and a nice central fan speed knob right here. That is something I truly like versus the old up and down for fan speed, because this is so much easier to use. Now, this vehicle did come with dual climate controls, basically allowing the front occupants to heat up and cool down with ease, and the temperature relates to the screen up above. One thing you may have to get used to is there's no gear selector knob either on the floor or up on here the column. Instead, it's right here on the dash in this turn type of dial system. Now, what I like is this is an 8-speed automatic transmission, and this just seems so simple and refined. Between the front occupants, you're going to see a nice open console. Allows you really to put your devices down here. There is a power supply, so you can store these and charge them at the same time. What I also like is this area right here. This allows you to stand your phone up there. Maybe you're on a conference call, maybe you're navigating, whatever it is, allows it to grip in place and really stands so you can look at the phone in quick glances and maybe see, well, who's calling. What you're also going to see between the front occupants is a nice oversized console, nice elbow support for both occupants as well, and it is a 2-tier system. The top tier, basically a nice shallow tray, extra places for coins, nice connectivity, and a little area for storage. What you're going to see below is even deeper, really throwing a whole bunch of junk in there, and well, kind of forget about it. For the gauge cluster, you're going to find an analog tach and speedometer surrounding a huge LCD screen in the middle. Now it's going to give you tons of information, but one place I always kept it was on the nice digital readout when it comes to the speed. You're going to find buttons that correspond with the cruise control on one side and that LCD screen I talked about a minute ago, and of course shortcut for your Bluetooth telephone. Looking at the second row, first thing you'll notice is there's plenty of legroom and plenty of comfort all the way across, really for 3 full-size crew. There's also going to be some nice creature comforts in the form of 2 cup holders here on the floor and 2 more in this nice elbow support center console. What you also can do is transfer this from hauling people to cargo, and that's done real easily. All you have to do is flip up the seat bottoms. That's going to give you access to this floor. But what you also can do is flip out these little support areas. That's going to give you one flat floor, making hauling cargo so much easier. Now it does for this edition of Road Warrior. And a test drive behind the wheel of the 2017 Ram 1500 Night Edition. Now again, you got multiple choices when it comes to this exterior color, but you only have one when it comes to the appointments. Other options include various power plants, but really the Hemi being the only option. What you truly want to do is add that cold air intake to boost the performance. Otherwise, this is pretty much a Ram truck, really delivering that great interior volume, taking all the crew well to the job site, and well taking all the gear just the same. Now as always, thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. Keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.